to be special in the pros. And the reality is we haven't seen that yet. I'm not saying that Lonzo Ball's a scrub. I'm not trying to disrespect him. I know he can play. He's smart, too. He's getting bigger. He's working on his game. But here's the reality of the situation. Two things are very real about him. His jump shot is lacking, but more importantly than that, his assertiveness. My number one knock against Lonzo Ball is lack of assertiveness. I can't believe I'm saying that with the daddy he's got, that he's not aggressive enough. Because that's the last thing you would hear, you would concern yourself with about a son of LeVar Ball, that he wouldn't be aggressive enough. But he's not. And because of that, think about this. Why is all of this relevant on a day that we're talking about Anthony Davis? I'll tell you why. With a Kuzma, with an Ingram, if you had Jason Tatum, you think it would be harder or easier to make a deal with the Pelicans? The Pelicans, the Lakers on the table right now. They put Ingram. They put Kuzma. They put Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. They put, who else is Josh Hart. They've got 2 first-round picks that they forfeited. And damn it still ain't enough. You trying to tell me it would be that easier for the Pelicans to hold the fort if Jason Tatum was available? Or De'Aaron Fox? Or Lauri Markkanen? Or Dennis Smith Jr.? To a lesser degree, Malik Monk? Or how about Donovan Mitchell? These are all people that Magic Johnson passed up to draft Lonzo Ball. De'Aaron Fox, yes, that De'Aaron Fox. That point guard on the Sacramento Kings team that looks quite good, ladies and gentlemen. You saw that 360 dunk by Marvin Bagley last night. They got some special young athletes on their crew. And De'Aaron Fox, when we saw him in college, his last game was a step further than UCLA because he dropped 39 on Lonzo Ball and bounced UCLA right out of the postseason, the NCAA tournament. You could have drafted any of these people number 2 overall. You chose Lonzo Ball because clearly it was a box office move. And now you're the Los Angeles Lakers and you're in a bind. You're in a bind. And the reason why you're in a bind is because guess what? The Pelicans are being pressured not to do a damn thing for the Lakers. And everybody's going to deny it, and that's fine. But the league don't want this to happen. Executives for respective teams, particularly in the small markets, don't want this to happen. Opposing GMs don't want this to happen. Opposing agents don't want this to happen. They don't like Rich Paul. And they damn sure don't like Rob Pelinka, the GM for the Los Angeles Lakers, which is why it's Magic that has to be on the phone with Dell Demps, because he wouldn't even talk to Rob Pelinka, from what I'm told. Now, in fairness to Rob Pelinka, a gentleman that's always been nice to me, never did anything wrong to me. I don't have any problems with Rob Pelinka. And I'm going to lean on what Kobe says in terms of him being that basketball savant, somebody that played with the Fab Five. He was their teammate. In their back-to-back trips to the national championship game. He's been a stellar agent throughout his career, but you got some agents that have very, very bitter feelings about him. And then there's Rich Paul. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I talked to all of these agents, Rich Paul amongst them. I happen to like Rich Paul. I like Rich Paul a lot. I think he's a good brother who knows how to hustle. And guess what? If he's out dueling you at your own game, deal with it. If y'all expected somebody to hate on Rich Paul, y'all came to the wrong place. And no, I don't get anything from Rich Paul because Rich Paul talked to LeBron, and LeBron and I are cordial with each other. We say hi or bye, and that's it. I lead the interviews to Rachel Nichols. Because I ain't kissing no, not to say that she does, because I'm not saying that, but I ain't kissing nobody's you know what. So LeBron and I don't have that kind of relationship, and that is fine with me. But I love Rich Paul. I love Maverick Carter. I love Randy Mills. I love his whole crew of guys. I love them because guess what? They on their grind. They're doing their own things. And they're good, real brothers that's making an honest living and representing him very, very well. And they're ultra protective of him as they should be. They're good people who don't deserve, by the way, to be criticized as much as they're criticized. But if you're Rich Paul, because I don't know anybody who has a negative word to say about Maverick Carter. I mean, my God. You see him, he starts smiling. He smile at a cockroach, for crying out loud. He's always got the smile on his face. As friendly as you want to be. Rich Paul, not so much. When you talk about Rich, he's proven to be a hell of an agent that tries to make things happen. And he's trying to get Anthony Davis to L.A. And clearly this was in the works since last summer. So that's what you have. Either way you slice it, you have people who, by the way, LeBron's an enemy of theirs. I'm talking about league. I'm not talking about the league office. I'm talking about team officials. They look at him as the embodiment of what they don't want these athletes to be, because LeBron is an incredibly influential and powerful athlete who has been able to dictate his own destinations on 3 occasions. That can snub the money. That can shove aside whatever influence you think you got. That can look somebody like Pat Riley in the face and say, bye, Felicia. I don't need you no more. I did this. I'm doing this. I gave you 4 years. Like I said, I don't mess with LeBron, but we ain't enemies. He's a good dude. Incredible role model. And a champion. But he wields a level of power and is very public and flagrant about it to such a degree that makes the status quo uncomfortable. Not with him, but with others destined to follow to try to do the things that he has done. And they're not having it. When you hear people talk about how Anthony Davis ain't nowhere in hell he going to end up in L.A. before Thursday, they're saying stuff like, you cannot allow LeBron James to get away with this. Those are the words they're using. That's not me. Those are the words they're using. You cannot allow LeBron James. He's a player, right? They don't view him that way. They hear Clutch Sports with Rich Paul, they're thinking he's running it. That's what they're thinking. They think he's behind everything. So the bottom line is, when you look at it from that perspective, they want to stop him. And if Anthony Davis were to end up in L.A. before the trading deadline expires, you're capitulating to LeBron. The same LeBron that left Cleveland for Miami without telling the owner, and he found out on television like the rest of us. The same LeBron who left Pat Riley. And while Pat Riley with Alonzo Mourning and others flew to Vegas to talk to him, they were talking to Rich Paul. LeBron was on a Nintendo game or whatever the hell it was, PlayStation or whatever the hell it was. To the point where Alonzo Mourning and others felt the need to approach him and go like, yo, man, show this man some respect. You can't do that. I had people tell me that, and it wasn't Alonzo. But that's how flagrant the disrespect was towards Pat Riley in Pat Riley's eyes at the time. So you had an owner like Dan Gilbert offended. You had a guy like Pat Riley offended. You come back to Cleveland. Brilliant move. You erase a 52-year-old curse. You win a championship. You left Cleveland again. You owe them nothing. They should be grateful forever. And now you go to L.A. And in the meantime, along the way, you've proven to be a savant as a basketball mind, brilliant at business, and literally bringing guys along and teaching them how to be just as brilliant as you are and how to buck the system, All things to be appreciated, all things to be admired, all things to look at LeBron James and say, damn, what a great role model. Particularly being African-American, considering the plight and the challenges to educate and to reach back and extend yourself the way that you do. What a special man. But then you got bold. And you got your own show on HBO. And you advertised who you are and who you wanted to be even more. Remember when he went at Nick Saban, acting like his show, The Shop, was the first time something like that had been done and somebody was stealing your idea? Nick Saban of all, that's the person you want to get in a fight with. And then after that, you start talking about owners in the NFL and accusing them of having a, quote, plantation mentality. Well, now you publicized your agenda even more so. So now you're scared the living hell out of everybody. And to capitulate to LeBron James is to send the league in a backward direction in their eyes. I, Stephen A. Smith, am not saying this to you. I am telling you what has been told to me as the motivation and the incentive behind the attitude that states, no way in hell do you give in to what the Lakers and LeBron James wants. That's the hole that Magic Johnson has been put in. And I'm not saying he can't dig himself out of it because he's Irvin Magic Johnson. I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, it's a hell of a lot to ask for him to pull it off before this Thursday. But it ain't finished yet. Who knows? He might do it. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. That was Straight Talk Wireless. Nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. We'll continue talking about this stuff. I'll get into the Knicks angle in all of this as well. I'm also going to mention the Dallas Mavericks and what they get out of this deal for Porzingis as well, because that needs to be noted also. Kobe Bryant on James Harden, Kobe Bryant on Anthony Davis. All of that and then some is coming up as the show progresses today. So don't touch that dial. Stick around. You're listening live. Also, I got to get into Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper and whether or not he's going to be a Yankee. Machado, whether or not he's going to be a Yankee. Who the hell's going to be a Yankee? You got over 100 free agents out there. Spring training is about to start in a week. I got to get into all of that. So all of that stuff I'm going to get into. Plus Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles. Would you keep Carson Wentz or would you keep Nick Foles? Which quarterback do you think the Eagles should go into next year and the future with? 888-SAY-ESPN. You're listening live, Stephen A. ESPN Radio, ESPN News. By the way, stop racking your brain about what Valentine's gift is truly going to make her day special. Roses from 1-800-Flowers are a no-brainer. Right now, when you order early, you can get the 18 stem enchanted rose medley for $29.99 or double it to the 36 stem enchanted roses for $20 more. To order the 18 stem enchanted rose medley for $29.99 or double the roses for $20 more, go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, and enter code Stephen A. Order today and save it at 1-800-Flowers.com, code Stephen A. That's with a PH, not a V. Hurry up. This offer ends Wednesday.